Atma Namaste. This is Christian R. Long, pranic healer in Denver, Colorado, and we're doing an amazing interview today for the Denver Maha Atma Project of spreading the message of great souls doing great work. So before I introduce the amazing gentleman that I'm going to be bringing on across him. So one day I was sitting in my healing clinic at my house, my home office, and one of my clients and I were discussing after her healing, and I said, you know what, there's so much potential out there to meet so many great people, and I'm just having a hard time running to like top-notch, high-quality people. And I said, do you know of anyone that I could connect with, or you could connect me with, or maybe do like a Facebook introduction or something like that? And well, lo and behold, she recommended this person to me, and she says he's right up your alley. He's hyper mobile, very successful, and all about win-win opportunities and situations. So I said, definitely we have to meet. Well, as life comes up, as business comes up, you kind of lose contact with certain people that you want to meet up with. So lo and behold, my girlfriend ended up meeting with him before I did over a Skype conversation, and then she got back to me and said, you absolutely have to meet Danny. And I thought, well, all right, 2 times a charm is definitely something that him and I need to connect with. So he ended up having some introductory talk about his company, which we'll be talking about shortly. And I went to his introductory talk, and I was absolutely blown away by the content, the professionalism, the systems that he's worked out, and also his intuitive nature, because him and I kept pinging and hitting off of one another's energies, insights, and I felt like I found a long-lost brother. So let me do the official, if I may, introduction for Danny Ballard. Okay, so for more than 25 years, Danny has been an entrepreneur and has been successful in developing multiple businesses and recruiting and training over 1,000 people. I don't even think I know 1,000 people. Okay, Danny's gift is bringing out the full potential of others, and does this by listening with his head and, most importantly, his heart, and senses opportunities for personal and professional growth. Danny enjoys speaking and coaching and is a catalyst and charismatic leader with a passion for helping others succeed. Danny is actively involved with his community, his church, values family and close friendships as his greatest asset, and that is a very big reason as to why I'm interviewing him today. So help me wonderfully, gratefully, joyfully welcome Danny Ballard to the show today. Danny.
Hey, Christian.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm very, very good. I'm so excited to have you on today's show. I'm looking forward to sharing your message, what you're about, what your business is about with, basically the entire world, and doing that in a very timely manner. So, Danny, go ahead. The stage is yours.
Hey, thank you, number one, for that very kind introduction. I think that that when we met, we just had this immediate connection, and all this energy was flowing. And, it's just good people really attract other good people. And fortunately in my life, I've had a lot of abundance in my life. I believe in people. I believe in good things happening. But one of the things that I think is so important is surrounding yourself with other amazing people. And so I feel just as honored to be able to be on this interview with you today. And the work that I've done with you have already been impressive and important for me. And it just continues to just affirm to me that good people really is the crux to really good things happen in our world today. So thank you for the work that you're doing to present this.
Absolutely, you're very welcome. So Danny, I wanted to start off with, I met you under the context of the Thrive Group, and the people probably listening to this right now aren't familiar with the Thrive Group, and I'd like for you to just kind of give a rundown of what the Thrive Group is, and really its origins, how it began.
Yeah, thank you. So Thrive is a business coaching and consulting group that a friend of mine, John Zengraff, and I actually created together. I met John about 11, 12 years ago when we had both moved to Denver. We were both business owners and just became fast friends. And what we found out is through the years is that we end up kind of becoming mentors and coaches for each other. And there's been times that we've met literally every single week for years in a row. And so we've become friends, mentors, coaches, and so we've always talked about someday we want to have a business together. He owned some very large companies on the East Coast, and I had businesses in Texas and here in Denver. And so we kept brainstorming about what that may look like. And the one thing that we knew is we said someday we want to have a business that we can use our pinnacle gifts, which is a term that we use in Thrive, which is really about what we're put on the planet for. And we wanted to do it in a way that we could really live the quality of life that we wanted and really impact the people that we wanted. So a few years ago, this really began to kind of formalize and began to say, what do we want this to look like? And so today, and that is the Thrive Group E, and what we are is we're business coaching and consulting. What we realize is most entrepreneurs and business owners today, they want to be in business for themselves, but nobody wants to be in business necessarily by themselves. The other thing that we notice is that a lot of people, Christian, we find that so many people spend so much time working in their business, they have very little time to work on their business. And so we really looked at that and said, you know, there's a lot of great people out there and they're doing some amazing things, but with a little bit of clarity, a little bit of strategy and some coaching, we can double and triple their effectiveness and really working a lot less hours and having a lot less stress and really having that quality of life. And so that, what is today the Thrive Group, our motto is extraordinary success and business. And our whole goal is to really kind of live it, to really be that about, and that we can actually share with other people. And we believe people want good in their life. Most people just need a little bit of tweaking along the way to get there. And so we love what we do every day. We're totally passionate about it. So I call it a come along beside you business. So many people have great ideas, and I want to be part of every one of their businesses. And so I can't own every business in America. I would really want to, but I get to come along beside people and help them clarify their goals, strategize their processes, and really build for themselves a business that they're really proud of. Well, that's really what we do.
I love it. And going to your first introductory talk and getting to know you more and how you do business, you really are a product of your own company because you really have basically cut down on your time being in the business and more so working on the system of it and removing yourself from the equation. Is that about accurate, about sums it up?
You know, it really is, Christian. We've developed our business where we can work 8 to 10 days a month and generate more than enough revenue to live the way we want. And both John and I have goals and dreams of doing what we've always done, which is a lot of travel, spending a lot of time with the people we love and care about, and making an impact in the world and community. So we've designed our business where our business serves the life we want to live, not us basically being driven by the business itself. And so that's something we think is very important. So we believe that the next whole session of our life is going to be spent doing something we love to do with people we enjoy doing it with, making tremendous growth in ourselves and other people, and really enjoying the process. So that's really what it's all about for us.
That's beautiful. So I was thinking about this, that people watching an interview like this are looking for inspiration or saying, wow, like this guy Danny seems to have everything together. He seems to have good relationships. He seems to have cracked the business code of kind of removing himself from the equation and bringing in money whether he's there or not, whether he's sleeping or not. And I want to give a little bit of a, if I may, put a little bit of chink in your armor. And has there been a time in your life as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, where you didn't have it all figured out?
And you know, Christian, I appreciate you bringing that up, because really, I think all of us and who we are in our lives is a product of all the experiences we've been through. I think one of the things that I would really share with me is in my life, I grew up in a wonderful family, great values, hardworking, those types of things. What I realized, though, is in my early part of my life, I really kind of create this pattern of trying to please everybody else. And so in the beginning parts of my business life, I worked myself crazy, and really I wasn't getting a lot of joy and fulfillment out of it. And I have some really rough times along the way. I've had some big ups and downs, as I think probably most people would say that they've had. And I've got to tell you, it's those moments that really shaped me. It's those moments that allowed me to have understanding and allowed me to have compassion. And so one of the things that I think that's a real gift for me is I really listen to people, and I sense their hearts, and I really sense their spirits. I see potential in people. And for the most part, that's because most people have been beat up, and they've been kind of knocked down. And so I've been there many, many times. I've been on the top of the world and the bottom, and up and down many times. And what I've noticed out of that is most of the time when that happens, it's because I start to rely on external influences instead of internal influences. And so the thing that I would say about my own journey and maybe other people is external motivation kind of gets us in trouble. It kind of leads us down paths that aren't really that productive and helpful for us. And maybe external motivation might be trying to prove something or trying to make a lot of money or trying to get a certain title or a certain promotion. Nothing wrong with any of those things, but the more I focused on internal motivation, doing it because I love it, doing it because I'm passionate about it, doing it because it's my gift, doing it because it makes a difference in the world, and what happens, everything smooths out and everything kind of works. And so for me, it's been this back and forth battle of trusting myself, trusting my own intuitions, listening to my head and my heart, and then being able to share that with other people and not letting all the external motivations and forces and drives of the world steal my dreams. And so I would really encourage, people to consider, for me, that whole idea of who are we? Who am I? What are my gifts and what was I put on the planet for? And let me just live in the present moment and give the gifts that I have, and whatever comes out of that comes out of that. And that's been probably one of the biggest joys of my life. We learn that by not doing it correctly. And it's a constant process of trying to refocus ourselves in an area where we can be humble, but we can also be very positive and confident about who we are and about what we bring to the world in a special way.
Beautiful. I really enjoy how you say focus on going within instead of external, looking for external validation, external approval, looking at your bank account for your self-worth, as opposed to looking in and really asking the question, what am I passionate about? What am I really good at? Why was I put on this planet? And who is I here to serve, right? Because ultimately we're here to serve other people. That's the point of a business, is adding value and fulfilling some kind of need or demand within the marketplace. So I enjoy that from that perspective of going within, asking questions about what is my motivation and what is it that I truly am passionate about to move my life forward. So if somebody is like in a sticking point, right, at some point in their business or even some point in their personal life, what would be like a little nugget that you would say that you would offer them if they are stuck, whether it's not getting enough clients, not marketing themselves properly, not branding themselves properly, not having harmonious relationships that build a foundation to build their business from that? What kind of nugget would you assist with that person of going within instead of looking outside of themselves?
Absolutely. And we have a concept that we call pinnacle gift. And think of it as a triangle. At the bottom, we start out with incompetent, competent, good, great, excellent, and pinnacle gift. The reality is in life, we're kind of trained as children to believe that we're supposed to be good at everything. The reality is we're not. In fact, there's a lot of joy in saying, hey, I stink at this, or I'm no good at that. And by being able to really kind of embrace the fact that I don't have to be good at everything, it gives us the permission to be good at something. And so I really would encourage people to be really clear about what are those things that they're really the best at in their sphere and gives them energy. Because there's a lot of things we may be good at, but they don't give us energy. Once you find those things that you could do all day long and just never run out of energy or excitement for, that's a real telling thing. Another thing that I would encourage people to do is to really find out from the people around them, what are the things that you see that I do that you think I'm the absolute best at? And a lot of people have a hard time asking that question. They feel a little bit insecure about asking it. But the reality is it's all about saying, I know that there's a lot of things I'm not good at that help me focus in on the things that you think I really do, unique or different or better or in a way that really nobody else does. And it's in identifying those pinnacle gifts, that ability, that gift, that strength, that energy that really gives us clarity in knowing how to move ourselves forward. I've been in financial services for 25 years of my life. I've been really good at it. I've been a financial advisor. I've done mortgages and insurance, and I've done all those things, and I love it. I've been great at it. But you know what's interesting about it? In all of those businesses, that wasn't my gift. My gift has never been necessarily money and business and finance and financial planning. My real gifts are about people and relationships and mentoring and coaching. And all of my businesses that I had success with came not because I was some superhero person in the business. It was because I was really, really connected to the people that I worked with, and inside those relationships, the business flourished and succeeded. And so it was a message for me after many years that I could be successful in a lot of different businesses as long as I focused on my pinnacle gift. And that pinnacle gift serves in bringing out the full potential in others. And so with Thrive, with business coaching and consulting, it really allows me to do what really I love to do, what I'm passionate about every day, and help people get to where they want to go. And so it's that clarity, it's that strategy, and it's allowing people to really give themselves the permission to say, this is something I really love, this is something I'm really gifted at, and this is something that gives me energy.
And that seems to require a tremendous amount of humility to look at yourself and go, you know what? I'm not amazing in everything. I'm pretty much probably amazing in like 2 or 3 areas of my life or even in my business. And to have the humility to recognize that you're weak in other areas and to, I'm guessing you're suggesting, delegate those out, give them to an assistant, stop doing them entirely, and just focus on your 1, 2, maybe 3 pinnacle gifts in your business. Is that about accurate?
Very accurate, Christian, and thanks for describing it that way. And I think it's humility, and another word I like to use is vulnerability, being vulnerable. And you don't want to be vulnerable with everybody. You want to be vulnerable in safe spaces with people that you really trust and can count on. But the reality is, vulnerability is kind of the opposite spectrum from confidence. So the more vulnerable I can be, so in other words, if I start in a continuum at 0, if I can be 10 on the vulnerability scale, then that allows me to be 10 on the confidence scale. If I can go to 20 on the vulnerability scale, that allows me to be 20 on the confidence scale, and vice versa. So they impact each other. The more confident I am, the more vulnerable I'm able to be. The more vulnerable I am, the more confident I am. And so confidence is what people buy in America today, or in the world today. People like confidence. They want to see someone that really feels good about themselves, that believes in what they're doing, and that's passionate about it. And so that confidence, if I were to interview somebody and say, what trait do you want to see in an applicant, I'm always going to say confidence. I want to see somebody that believes in themselves and believes in what they can provide and what they can do and what they bring to the world. And again, it's humility, but it's also this vulnerability packaged with this confidence.
Beautiful. Thank you for clarifying. That was well said. You mentioned in your 25 years of doing business, you've been very interested in connecting with your clients and the people that you work with in a deep and profound way. And that kind of leads me into my next question, because when I first met you, even when we met each other at the door and I shook your hand, and the amount of enthusiasm and the amount of joy and the amount of like twinkling, sparkling energy just emanating from not only your eyes but from your presence and who you were, I was like, this is a guy who loves what he does. This is a guy who is resonating at a very, very high level, and no wonder he is in it. So I want to know, Danny, if you're willing to share with me and the audience, why do you love people so much?
You know, it's interesting, Christian. I have people ask me this fairly often, it was kind of surprising to me when people first started asking me this, and so now I've had to kind of really think through it. And I think what's interesting is I've had other people say, I don't believe you. Nobody can really love people that much. And that was a weird thing for me to have to hear. I wasn't sure how I felt about that the first time I heard it. You know, the thing is, I really do love people. And I think for me, it's that I see the good in people. When I see people, I see goodness and I see potential. And I just can't help but love them. I can't help but want that for them. I can't help but want to help them identify that and bring that out of them. And so there's something inside me that it almost happens without even really thinking about it. It's very intuitive for me, where I just naturally and easy, quickly, sometimes within seconds, I sense people. I sense their gifts. I sense their potentials and really what they want. And most of the time, they don't even see it in themselves. And so, for whatever reason, I'm able to see that. And I'm able to describe it back to people. And sometimes people see it as a compliment, but I share back to people very easily things that I see in them, and I think that allows people to have clarity. So I believe in unconditional love, and I think in unconditional love we have to love ourselves first and foremost before we can love anybody else. And you know, that's not always been an easy thing necessarily for me, with a lot of background and things that we all go through in our lives. but a constant process of learning to love ourselves and accept the fact that we are uniquely created, and to believe in the concept of unconditional love. And then to have that, there's really no other choice. We really have to love other people unconditionally, because if we believe we're uniquely created, I have to believe they're uniquely created. And then really it's just exciting to me. It's just, I can't wait to find out what are the wonderful things about Christian that I don't even know yet. Is when you walk in the door and I see your energy, and I see that smile. I felt similarly. I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy's just radiating with energy. What is all that? And so I just go into this mode of trying to figure all that out and bring it out. Who are you? What are you all about? Tell me about your heart. Tell me about your experiences. Tell me about your life. And there's something in the safety that I have the ability to create with people, that people quickly and easily share really deep and meaningful parts of their life with me within minutes. And I don't know why that happens, but even when I was a kid in school, people would come to me and just really open up and share very deep, meaningful parts of their life. And so for whatever reason, I take that very, very seriously and respectfully, and I feel that is a great honor. And so my goal is just to love them through that, to help them understand it. I call it the gas pedal and the brakes, and that is help them get their foot off the brake and help them put their foot on the gas and to be all the things that they were created to be.
That's what you seem to have, just this deep curiosity for people, and I think in that curiosity, in that discovering about them, you start to see so many connections. And because you've met so many people and you've had so many experiences with business owners and professional and personal relationships over the years, you're able to start seeing the oneness of everyone. You begin to say, hey, I know not just one person with your similar condition or problem, but I know hundreds of people with that. And so it's like that curiosity that you have for people. I think that's like, I don't know, maybe it's the secret to how you're able to love people so much, because you really get to deeply know them, and you're like, you know what, we're not so different. We're not so, yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Danny. Because you've had basically such a breadth of experience of working with small business owners over the past 25 years, especially with what you're doing with Thrive Group, you have your pulse on the business community, especially on the small business community. Where do you see business going, small business going, over the next, say, 5 years with technology, with crowdfunding, with crowdsourcing, with people hiring coaches at an exponential rate? Where do you see the small business community in the next 5 years?
You know, I love that question, Christian. It's so interesting because, you know, first and foremost, I believe it's going to be better than ever. And I'll tell you the reason why I believe that. Because I believe in an entrepreneurial spirit. An entrepreneurial spirit is born out of creativity. Those of us that are entrepreneurs, if you really think about a common thread with all of us, we love to create. We love to come up with ideas and solutions and problem solving to really make the world a better place. I mean, that's really kind of the foundation where all that comes from. And so there's a creativeness. And what I love about the world that we live in today, and I'm so thankful I live in the generation I am today for many, many reasons. I feel so blessed that I was chosen to be on the earth at this time with, you know, the climate that we're in from a cultural standpoint, the climate that we're in from a technology standpoint. But what I believe is in the concept of empowerment with creativity. And that is, the world today, from a technological standpoint, gives us so much opportunity. The fact that you and I, Christian, are sitting here on a computer, interviewing each other, creating this video that can be seen by millions of people around the world is an unbelievable thing that I don't take for granted. The fact that we have printers in our office today that will print better than printing presses used to do not even that long ago. I mean, these are incredible changes in our world. And what it does is it just means that our creativity at this point has no limits and has no bounds. So I see small business especially, because that's where true creativity comes from. As companies get larger, they start to get more compliant, more rules-based, and creativity starts to wane in that. True entrepreneurs, the real value, the real motivation is creativity. I can come up with something, I can design something, I can take it, and I can implement it and actually create an entity, create a living being. Several of my business partners, we jokingly say, we made a baby together. You know, our business is our baby. We made a business baby together that lives and breathes, and it has its own life. And so There's something about that creativity and that ability to be empowered and that ability to create a new life that really drives entrepreneurs. And the resources we have today are more abundant than they have ever been in the past. And I think we're going to see 5 years of unbelievable growth and unbelievable ideas in the marketplace as a result of that.
So it's the empowerment has gone from the big companies that are stuck in the industrial age, and it's going back to the entrepreneur, what it was 100, 125 years ago. So the technology now is empowering the individual to go out and to make their own choices, to create something, to see what the market will want and how they can find their specialty, their niche, where they can use their gift, as you would say. That's beautiful, that creativity. It's funny you're mentioning that, because I'm thinking, like, in the sense of the energy world, the lower chakra, the sex chakra, deals with lower creativity, and the throat chakra deals with higher creativity. So it's like, creating a baby literally takes a lower creativity, but to create a business requires so much higher creativity from yourself and your business partners, and come together to birth this idea that can solve and alleviate problems and the suffering of humanity all over the world. It's so beautiful. So yeah, I guess we're in the age of the entrepreneur. When you were building the format or the model for the Thrive Group, was there a certain company or companies that you looked to or got inspiration from? You were like, you know what, that's great, I want to model that.
There's several things, Christian, that come up for me. Companies, but also books. There's a lot of books that really inspired me, and one of those is a book written by Rick Warren, and a lot of people aren't familiar with it. It's called Purpose-Driven Church, and it talks about how he built Saddleback Church. And I have learned so much from that book. It's been amazing for me. Another thing is the book 4-Hour Workweek, written by Tim Ferriss, and it's really, the idea is, how do we create a business that serves the life that we really want to live, and not that our lives are being kind of run by our businesses or our jobs or our careers. And so those are really impactful for me as well. And the third thing that I would say from a company standpoint, one of the companies that really inspires me is Google. And I know it's a big name company, it does so many things, but at the end of the day, the thing that I like about Google is the concept of open source. And that is the idea that we're going to create all of these tools and all these resources, and we're going to give it away to the community and let people use it all and just create everything they can create. And then as a result of that, we're going to ride the momentum of all the growth that has happened. And I love the concept of, first of all, providing value, and second of all, then considering the profitability side of that. And I think in the old days, sometimes what happened, it was all about the money. It was all about profitability. People would literally come up with a money plan first and then figure out how to execute it. And I'm a big believer that if you solve a problem and you fulfill a need and you create empowerment and creativity in people to take a value or some type of a tool and turn it into something 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times larger, Google has learned that just the revenue they receive off of the growth of the business was way more valuable than trying to sell the tools that got to the growth. That inspires me, and that tells me that with the entrepreneurs that we serve every day, it's important that we help them develop the foundational clarity, the tools, the resources, the processes, and really focus on the pinnacle gift. And then through the growth of that, everyone achieves more, and that's kind of what it's all about. So that's been important to me. One of the other things that I would mention is in the book, Purpose-Driven Church, in the first chapters, it talks about the idea that growth is natural. Is that when you have a baby, you don't have a baby and say, okay, now grow, come on, grow, you can do it. It's natural. Growth is natural, and it uses this example of disease, or it hyphenates it into dis-ease, and it suggests that the idea that when things are not growing, it's because something is in the way. Something is hindering the growth, because growth is natural. And so that's been a foundational thing that I believe about my life, about business. And so part of the way we grew Thrive is this: if we can eliminate all of the negativity and all the breaks and all the disease, it will grow naturally. And so we believe that for all of us, if we can eliminate the things that are holding us back, that growth will happen naturally and easily and somewhat effortlessly in that process.
I love the analogy of a baby grows naturally. You don't. You're all right. Come on, you're going to eat twice as much today as you did yesterday, so it can accelerate your growth.
Right.
I love that analogy. It paints a really clear picture. Other than the pinnacle gift that you're talking about, Danny, of finding out that 1, 2, maybe 3 things that you're extraordinarily good at and just focusing on that, for all the entrepreneurs out there, for all the small business owners out there, whether they're coaches, whether they're in the holistic practices, they're in the oil and gas business, they're real estate investors, what is a nugget or two that you can share with them if they're stuck? What would you suggest?
Christian, I believe it's almost always the same thing. It's get a clear plan and work your plan. When I see people that are struggling, they're typically all over the board. They've got 100 things running through their head. They're trying to do 50 jobs at the same time. They're trying to be good at everything. They're running into marketing, then they're running back in accounting. They're just all over the board. And so the more people can get crystal clear about their plan, design it, create it, visualize it, draw it. I'm a big believer in visualization, a story, a plan, a picture, and then work the plan and then not change it all the time. The other thing I see is people are constantly changing things all the time and they never really get any momentum. So the simple answer is get a clear plan and work your plan.
Bam. Simply said. So, Danny, we're wrapping up now. If someone, this is your opportunity to share, thrive with the world, with my community, with the community that are listening to this. If someone, a small business owner, entrepreneur, real estate investor, someone who wants to take their professional life to the next level, how can they work with you?
Yeah, thank you for asking, Christian. What we recognize with Thrive is that we've designed Thrive to be based on our pinnacle gifts and our beliefs and our experience and our talent. So we realize we can't possibly be all things to all people, would never want to do that. So we're very clear and focused on being the right fit for the people that we work with. The people that would be the right fit for us would be people that are entrepreneurs in business for themselves, that they feel like for whatever reason they're stuck or that they need clarity to go to the next level and that they need some expertise, and people that are in the business, people who have run businesses that can get out there with them and say, this is what it looks like, this is how to get the clarity. And so what we do is that we offer several different things based on what the needs of that client might be, and everybody's different. So we offer peer advisory boards. It's a mastermind type group where we get outside eyes, where we have 10 to 15 business owners come together onto a board and we facilitate that with them. It's a great way for people that are more community-based, that are relation-based, that feed off of other people and love giving but love getting back. That can be a really effective way. We also do individual coaching and strategy, and what we find in that is a lot of people that are just, maybe they're in a business, they're doing well, but they're trying to get to the next level, they really feel stuck, or they've got, like we said, 50 things out on the table and don't know how to put them together. Our coaching and strategy can be really great for them. These are for people sometimes that are very action-oriented. They want to get things done, and they don't like to mess around. They're very impatient maybe with how to get there. Coaching works really well for them because we get undivided attention with that. We do 1 and 2 day strategy sessions that really is one of the most powerful things that we do. And what we're finding is a lot of business owners have great ideas and they have some of the concepts and some of the processes, but again, it's just all scattered all over the table. So we take 1 and 2 days with John and I both. We sit down with the business owner or owners, and we literally frame out, flesh out, and draw out their entire business plan and give them specific steps to follow to really get to the next level. And then the third things that we do is we believe in education. We believe there's a constant growing and learning process, and so we do 1 day seminars and 2 day courses as a part of our education. So we believe in peer advisory, so it's ongoing growth. We believe in coaching and strategy, so we can go in and focus in on specific things and really take them to a different level. And then number 3 is constantly growing their education. So we define that as growth for life and a process to sustain it. And really, it's the opportunity through our intro workshops. We like to meet other entrepreneurs, and immediately what we find out, it's either a good fit for people or it's not. And the ones that it is, it's a great working relationship. So we believe strongly in working with people that really want to grow. They really want to have an impact. But it's that extraordinary success, not only in their business, but also in their personal life. And that's really where we thrive.
And I like how you have the interviewing process to find out if it's a good fit. It's not people coming into your organization signing up for thousands of dollars with coaching and peer advisory, and then halfway into it, the person realizes, wait a minute, this isn't what I expected, this isn't what I wanted, this isn't what I signed up for, and then there's a bunch of hurt feelings, and that's not good for business, obviously. So I really admire that you are willing to take the time and go through the interview process with each and every person that comes into the Thrive Group. So that's great. That's a great value add. So that being said, basically, if you're a small business owner and you're looking to take your business to the next level, I highly recommend Danny. He basically is a product of his business, and he's a product of success, great happiness, love, joy with all the people that he works with, friends, family, and business associates. So I'm going to have in the little link or the little box, description box below, Danny's contact information with his website once the video is up and running officially. So, Danny, I want to thank you so much for coming on to the show, and I'm going to thank our friend for uniting us and connecting us, and hopefully we'll continue to be in each other's lives for many, many years to come.
Absolutely, Christian. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time today. And again, I love you being a part of my life and me being a part of your life. It's one of those things that just brings me joy every day. I love life. I can't wait to experience every piece of it, and to do it with amazing people is really kind of the icing on the top.
No doubt, no doubt. So guys, this is Christian Arlong, pranic healer in Denver, Colorado, and this is our interview for Denver's Maha Atma, spreading the messages of great souls doing great work. I wish you all many, many blessings of light, love, and power. Over and out. Atma. Namaste.